If identity answers who you are and purpose answers why you're here, then vision answers where this life is actually going. Today we're talking about vision casting. I don't know if y'all's heard this before, but with vision comes provision. And when you have a strong vision, it's like you can see the future before it happens. And the way that you craft your vision makes writing your dream reality very easy. And today I'm going to share with you guys what I did and how I started to craft my vision back when I was 15 years old, and how I started to live my dream life without even realizing it. Back when I was 15, I was really soul searching, really doing a lot of personal development, personal growth work. And there was a program that I went through, and they said to write out your dream life for X amount of years into the future. So I started writing, this year I did this, that year I did that, and every day when I woke up, I would write out my core goals. I did this, I have this, I'd make this, I blah, blah, blah. And I would do it every day, write out my goals. I have like so many notepads of the same lines every day until I achieved something, and then I wrote a new line, and I took a break for a couple years. I stopped doing it as consistently for a few years. But when I went back to look at everything, I realized that I had reached so many of my goals. I made so many of my goals a reality, and I didn't even realize it yet. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like 28 years old, living my 15-year-old self dream life. And I was thinking, why didn't I think bigger? Why didn't I think even larger, right? Down to the fact that I have a wall full of terrariums and animals inside of the terrariums that I made myself. These are things that I wrote down that I wanted to have happen many, 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 many years ago, right? Now, how do we vision cast? How do we cast our vision into the future and start bringing the future into the present and start living our reality, or shaping a reality that we want to live in quickly? I want you to grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, whatever you got to grab, and write 15 years into the future. You're writing the story of a character, and all the things are already happening to that character. This is the story of 45-year-old Ty. He was driving this car on his way back home from doing this type of work, greeted with such and such at home, whether it's family, pets, whatever, right? This is the kind of house that it is. I want you to write out, what does 15 years from today look like in the day of a life, or a day in the life of you? And you write out the story of what does that 15 years from today look like? And you can think of this across your 6 pillars. And you can think of this through career. You can think about this through hobbies. You can think about this through travel, how you experience the world. Think about all these different things, yeah? And as you go through and start to write out and start to envision this dream life, this future, 15 years from today, what is happening? Now that we have this big vision of what 15 years from today looks like, we got to go back a little bit. Because 15 years, it's far. We can cast our vision and cast our net far into the future, but we have to start bringing it back. So let's step back a little bit by 5 years. And I want you to tell me what has to be true, or what does the story look like 10 years from today in order for 15 years from today to be a reality. 10 years from today, A, B, C, D must be true in order for year 15 to even be a possibility. And I want you to write down, the kids were this old, we were married for this long, this is how much the business is making, this is how big the team got. You know, these are the places we traveled to in this year. These are the experiences we had, the adventures we had. We got to jump backwards again. From 10 years to 5 years. 5 years from today, what needs to be true for 10 years to be possible, and for 10 years to be a reality, and for 15 years to be a reality. 5 years from today, what needs to be true? Get into as much detail as possible with the big things that you can actually, and then we do the same thing for 3 years from today. And we do the same thing for 1 year from today. And this is the crucial point. What needs to be true 1 year from today? What are the big, crazy, audacious milestones that must be true 1 year from today in order for 3 years from today to look the way that it has to, in order for 5 years from today to look the way it has to, for 10 years from today? But wait, there's more. What do the next 12 weeks need to look like in order for 1 year from today these things will be true? And we start to plot things out 12 weeks at a time. Small little micro steps, micro actions. Okay, little bites. What has to be true 12 weeks from today in order for 1 year from today to look the way it has to, in order for 3 years from today to look the way that it must, for 5 years to be, for 10 years to be, for 15 years to be. And then you just start to do it. A lot of folks talk about vision boarding. A lot of folks talk about manifestation. A lot of folks talk about all of these other things to make your dream life a reality. And it's great. One of my very close friends told me a quote: dream so big that you never wake up. But what are the steps? I can dream so big that I'm delusional. And it's okay to be delusional if you still break it down. If you put it through the roadmap, review, organize, align, define, then make your massive action plan. Vision casting is huge for road mapping. You gotta know where you're going. You gotta know why you're going. Otherwise, who cares? It doesn't matter. You gotta know who you're becoming. What identity is aligned with that vision of yourself in the future? The old identity that you had, throw it away. It doesn't matter. The mistakes you made in the past, it doesn't matter. You gotta move forward. You gotta become that next version of you to align with who you are 15 years from now. I forget which actor said it, but he said his hero is the 10-year older version of him. What are you doing right now to make your future hero proud? When I was younger, I used to say that I'm just trying to be the 3-year-old version of me. I'm trying to be his hero. If I were to meet 3-year-old version of me right now, I want him to be like, whoa, this guy is so cool. I'm so glad we grew up to be this guy. Like, yo, really? We did it. And I'm trying to live in a way, and I invite you to live in a way, that the 40-year-old version of you is proud. Or at least 40-year-old Ty should be so grateful that 30-year-old Ty did all the things that he did to make life the way life is. That's the power of vision. It's so crazy. Sometimes you don't even realize that your vision is coming true. You're doing all this work and you don't even realize that all the work that you're putting in, all the things, all the pieces are coming together. You feel like, you sometimes may even feel like you're lost and nothing makes sense. Everything feels empty and meaningless. And then boom, everything just aligns so nicely. Purpose gives you effort and meaning, but vision gives you direction. And without a vision, even strong people with strong values start to drift. And it's not because they don't care, but it's because they never took the time to define what long-term success actually looks like for them. Because you could work hard, you could be disciplined, but you could still be caught drifting, guys. We don't want that, all right? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Share this with someone who needs a little bit more vision in their life, someone who really needs to stop drifting. I know we all know someone, that one person that's drifting a little bit too much in life. So I'd really appreciate if you share it with them. I'm just getting home, so I will see you tomorrow. Peace.